Thank you very much, everybody, for being here and for coming to this event talking about wellness. Not everybody likes to come and talk about wellness, so thank you for coming and doing this for yourself as well. So I'm Stephanie. I'm a holistic nutrition coach, and I'm a wellness stylist. And I'm a holistic nutrition coach. I don't just teach nutrition. I also teach wellness. I teach exercise, about 10% exercise, and mostly like 60% nutrition, 10% exercise, and the rest of it is mindset and movement. And yes, movement and exercise are two different things. So one of the reasons I joined Ladies That Lead is because I wanted connection, and I also wanted to meet new women, and I wanted to talk to women about having a voice. I think it's really important for us to be able to have a voice, and that's kind of where my story started. My story started when I kind of found myself in a doctor's office in the year 2000 with my son in my lap, and I was burned out, absolutely burned out. It was his checkup, wasn't my checkup. And at the time, I had been working corporate. I had a toddler at home, had the second one in my lap. And the doctor asked me a question. She asked me a question that will make every sleep-deprived mom cry. She said, "How are you feeling?" So I started to cry. And I turned, and I remember him sitting in my lap, and I remember it was his appointment because he was sitting in his little diaper and his little belly, and I'm crying tears onto his stomach, and I'm looking at the doctor because I'm feeling guilty, and I'm feeling confused, and I'm feeling ashamed. And she started asking me other questions, and she asked me, I realized now that she wanted me to answer yes to these questions the way she worded them. And she said, "So, Stephanie, how is your motivation compared to how it used to be? So is it as good as it used to be?" I was like, "Well, no, I guess not." And she said, "Well, how's your sleep? Is your sleep different than it used to be?" Come on, I have a toddler, I'm nursing, yeah, my sleep is not what it used to be. And then she said, how's your libido? Come on, how's my libido? I said, yeah, it's not great. So then she reached over, she asked me a bunch of other questions. She reached over and she pulled out a package of antidepressants. And she put them on the counter and she put them in front of me and she said, "I want you to take these and I want you to come back in 10 days from now." And she said, "This is going to be a lifetime of monitoring." And it was when she said those words, lifetime of monitoring, that something clicked in my head and something switched. And I took the package and I went home and I talked to my husband and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I'm depressed." And he's like, "Really?" He goes, you're the captain of a Relay for Life team right now. You organize moms every single month to get together have coffee together because you're starving for connection and meeting other women. He's like, "I don't think you're depressed. I think something else is going on. Sure, you're tired." And guys, I was so tired that if I had been in a grocery store and lay down in the grocery line, like in the produce section, and you stepped over me, I wouldn't have cared. I could have had a beautiful nap. So I started trying to figure out what was going on in my body. And the first place I looked was nutrition. And I have been cooking since I was little. I remember my dad putting me up at the stove and making scrambled eggs. He was teaching me how to make scrambled eggs when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Jen, you want to go to the next slide for me? I've been cooking on an easy bake oven, since I was little. And if you notice in the corner, this easy bake oven isn't even plugged in, so I think this was a staged picture for my grandparents to say thank you for Christmas for this gift. But I've always been interested in nutrition, so that's what I started doing first. I started looking at ways I could rebuild my body with nutrition. And what I discovered was that I was anemic. And if you know anything about iron is oxygen, right? And if you don't have enough oxygen in your blood from your iron, you're going to be absolutely exhausted. The other thing I discovered was that I had adrenal fatigue. Before I'd had baby number 2, I had trained and ran a marathon. I was working corporate. I was busy. I was pushing my body like we all do. I was replenishing and filling my body with sugar and caffeine and doing all the things and push. And I had adrenal fatigue. And adrenal, when you tap out your adrenals, they are, again, all centered around fatigue. And then I found out that I had the beginning of hypothyroidism, which ended up blowing into Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disorder. Well, the interesting thing that I discovered about iron and thyroid, and this is what's fascinating, I think, about the woman's body and our hormones, is that things are always interconnected. So iron is a mineral. You cannot absorb iron without thyroid hormones. And you can't make thyroid hormones without enough iron. So it's a catch-22. It's a chicken and egg. Which came first? Did the iron happen, or did the hypothyroidism happen first? And so I started drilling down into exactly what was going on with my thyroid. So I'm always telling women that your body is beautiful, and it knows what it's doing, and it sends you signs and it sends you symptoms for a reason. And it sent me that sign, the symptoms of being so exhausted, for a reason. And it was so that I could figure out what it was I wanted to do next. You want to go to the next slide? So again, our body is beautiful, and we need to learn to listen. But not just listen, but figure out how to respond to our body as well. One of the things, thanks. A lot of times we think that our body is a calculator, right? We think that if we eat less and we exercise more, we're going to lose weight. And then something happens one day. We get busy, and we can't exercise anymore, and so then it doesn't really work anymore. The eat less, exercise more is exactly how you'll burn out your adrenal glands, and it was exactly what I had done to my body. I had completely depleted my body because I treated it like a calculator. Putting food in, working it really hard, replenishing with caffeine and with sugar, and I had burned my body out. It's where when we look at our food as a calculator, we're hungry, we eat, but then we don't realize that our body's stressed out. Our body is actually more like a thermostat, and I like to call it a stress barometer. It is forever adapting, it's adjusting, it's responding, and it is changeable. We completely have control over what's happening. And when we look at our body and we look at our hormones, if hormones are actually signaling molecules, so they're forever sending a message to our body and signaling to our body what's going on. If you think about your cell phone, if you're sitting on the couch and your cell phone is sitting in the kitchen and you hear the ding go off, and you get up off the couch, you go to the kitchen and you pick up the phone and you look at your phone. First you open your text message, you read it, it computes, goes into your head what it says, and then you go, oh my God, Johnny just got into a fight down at school. His pants are wet, and I have to run down to the school now, take him new pants, and I have to go visit the principal because he's been in this fight now. And so you run and you get your keys, and now you're worried, and you're thinking, oh my God, and Freddie, it's probably Freddie's fault that Johnny got into this fight in the first place. So now you're reacting, and now what's happened? Now you have cortisol swirling through your body. Now you have adrenaline swirling through your body as, Bear Mama is going crazy, where she's thinking, it's not my son. My son could never have been in a fight at all. And that's exactly how signaling molecules work, and that's exactly how hormones work in our body. They're forever sending us signals and sending us signs that we need to pay attention to. And that's the beauty, is when we stop and pay attention to those little signs and those little signals, and the symptoms that we get, that's when we can drill down into what our body is trying to say. And we can start peeling back that onion and really start doing things for ourselves. So here are some of the hormones. And hormone research is actually in its infancy right now. We are discovering new hormones constantly. They're researching new hormones all the time. But these are the main ones. Estrogen and progesterone are our two sex hormones. We do have some testosterone as well. That's what helps us make muscles. Insulin, leptin, cortisol, thyroid, growth hormone, and like I said, testosterone. These are our signaling molecules and the hormones that are in our body. I actually had a client who came to me because she and I, we actually known her for a number of years, and she would always eat kale, and it would physically make her sick. It's like crazy. What, kale makes her sick? And she said, and she goes, and we would talk about when she would eat in a restaurant. She goes, when I eat in these restaurants and I have a salad, I'm sick after having it. So we thought, well, maybe it's the preservatives, it's the additives that are on the salad. So she was like, hey, I can't eat in restaurants anymore. I'm really afraid to eat in restaurants. So I'm now going to eat just at home and entertain my friends at home. So she'd make a beautiful meal. She'd make like a chocolate mousse, and they'd have some red wine, and everybody would leave, and then she'd be sick again. And she'd be so sick that she would actually end up in bed until Sunday. She had people over on Friday night. She'd be in bed till Sunday. Couldn't figure out what was going on. I said, well, let's start peeling back that onion. Let's start figuring out, why is your body sending you this message? Why is it telling you you can't eat kale and chocolate mousse and red wine? I mean, come on. This is crazy. And couple of weeks working together, and we had changed her diet up a little bit, and she said, oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And she said, you know, usually the only thing that makes me feel better is taking Benadryl. I was like, Benadryl reacts with histamine. She has histamine intolerance. So we went and we took out all the high histamine foods out of her diet. And bingo, she went from a size 38 to a size 32. She had had wheezing and had asthma, and that all cleared up. She had had carpal tunnel surgery booked. And she went to see the surgeon, and he said, it's off the table. You no longer have to have carpal tunnel surgery. All because we paid attention to the signs and the symptoms that her body had, and we were able to turn that around. So, estrogen and progesterone. I want to talk a little bit about estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen, these are two twin sisters. We have the sexy sister, which is estrogen, and the cozy sister, who is progesterone. And the reason I want to talk about this is because it's really important for us to understand estrogen and progesterone, because there's a lot that we can do in order to keep our bodies strong. Let's just say it that way. Estrogen, like I said, is the sexy hormone. It's the one that makes you want to put on lipstick. It's where your libido comes from. It's where your beautiful skin comes from and your strong hair come from estrogen. And the estrogen that our body makes is beautiful. Like, it is an awesome hormone. We hear about the bad estrogens, right? Well, those estrogens are coming from plastics. They're coming from plastics. We're picking them up from the environment. We're getting them from our water. We are picking them up from herbicides and pesticides that are in the environment. And it's really important for us to know that those are two different types of estrogen, okay? So don't be afraid of the natural estrogen in your body. And then we have progesterone, and progesterone is the cozy one. It's the one that helps us sleep at night. It's the one that helps us feel calm and cool. It's the one that helps us feel, if you're feeling restless and anxious, usually it's a sign that your progesterone is low. And so if you're not sleeping well at night, progesterone's really low. And what happens is, as we age, so estrogen is the high one, progesterone is low. That's the natural way for it to be. What ends up happening is that as estrogen increases and we pick it up from our environment, it grows like this. Progesterone, after the age of 30, starts to decrease like this. So you start to feel people start to get restless and anxious. They start to have some anxiety. They start to not sleep really well. It's because progesterone's done this really big dip. The problem is the gap that we've now created between the estrogen and the progesterone. And that's called estrogen dominance. And where breast cancer comes from, where cervical cancer comes from, where uterine cancer comes from, is this gap that we have between the estrogen and the progesterone. But I have a solution for you. The best way for you to clear out the extra bad estrogen is flax meal. You can't eat enough flax meal. Right, Sherry? You can't eat enough flax meal. I have a recipe for, in my family, my husband calls them fluffins, flax muffins. So you can make fluffins. You can use 2 tablespoons of flax meal every single day, put them into smoothies, sprinkle it on a salad, throw it on a stir fry. Make sure it's super fresh. I love to buy flax seeds, grind them in a coffee grinder, keep a little in a little mason jar in the fridge, and then you have beautiful fresh flax meal that you have made yourself. 2 tablespoons a day. It is going to help lower that bad estrogen in your diet, and it's going to help clear it out through your colon. Because what we don't want to happen, if you're somebody that suffers from constipation, you definitely want to be doing this, along with lots of water. Because if we're constipated, that extra estrogen sits in our colon and it gets metabolized. And we do not want to get remetabolized in our body, because that's where estrogen positive breast cancer comes from. So that's my big message to everybody today. It's why I wanted to talk about estrogen and progesterone in particular. So so here's our estrogen again. So one of the things I wanted to talk about also with estrogen and progesterone is when we exercise. Remember how I mentioned that I burned my body out and I would drain those adrenal glands? One of the things that is really important for us to do as well is to exercise with our cycle. People don't talk about that. They don't talk about the fact that there are certain times when we should be eating carbs, and there are certain times when we should be eating fewer vegetables. We should be eating, well, always eat lots of vegetables, but we should be eating fewer carbs. So when our estrogen is high, which is day 1, so this is when your period starts, and if you don't have a cycle, this still matters. I coach people on how to follow the moon cycle in order to figure out where your cycle is, because your cycle is still running even though you don't have a period, okay? So your follicular phase is day 1 to day 14, and this is when your estrogen is growing. This is when you want to be doing cardio, you want to be eating carbs, you want to lift lots of weights. This is your building, muscle building. And because I don't believe in eating less and exercising more, this is when you should be exercising more and eating more. So that's when you add a few extra carbs, a few extra fats, and get out there and walk, run, whatever it is you like to do, lift some weights. High progesterone, so this is your luteal phase. This is when you're going to be nice and chill and calm, right? This is when you're going to sleep really, really well. So this is day 15 to 28. This is when you want to do more Metcon exercise. If you want to do exercise, you might not even want to exercise during this period because you might be feeling really, really calm and chill and kind of sleepy. You're not meant to go out and do cardio. You're meant to do like HIIT exercises. That's like 10 minutes maximum. That's it. That's all you need to be doing. You're going to be having fewer calories, fewer carbs, lots of fish, lots of nuts and seeds at this period. And this is actually your fat burning. Can you believe it? You're going to eat less, but you're also going to exercise less because you don't want to be pushing against your metabolism when you're eating less, because that's just going to increase your insulin and make you carry fat. That's what insulin does. So this is what I do inside my Wellness Hub. I coach women one-on-one, and I also coach women inside my Wellness Hub, which is a group coaching program. And because we didn't do the January, I had the doors open in January, so what I'm doing is anybody that wants to come and join me now inside the Wellness Hub, any ladies here, I'm offering you $500 off into joining the Wellness Hub. And also I have 3 spots in my one-on-one coaching, and I'm going to maintain, just for the ladies that lead, my 2021 pricing. So if anybody wants one of those 3 spots at my 2021 pricing, you can come and talk to me, and that's the one-on-one coaching with me. So now we're going to do a quiz. This is an easy quiz. So in front of you, you have a piece of paper, and it says A, B, C, D, and E. And what we're going to do is we have meridians in our body. And meridians are energy systems that run through our body. In Chinese medicine, they talk about meridians. And each meridian is actually connected to a pair of organs. So you'd have like liver and gallbladder together, small intestine and heart together, that kind of thing. So I'm going to give you some symptoms, and you're going to rate them from 1 to 10. So 1 being, or 0, I don't have that symptom at all, or yes, I have that symptom, is really, really bad. And then at the bottom, we're going to add up everything and see which meridian system is giving you the most trouble. Bucket A, bucket B, C, D, or E. Okay? Now, there are a ton of symptoms for each meridian. I'm just giving you kind of the top 10, and then I'm going to give you some solutions for the top 10, these 5 different buckets. Okay, so bucket A, allergies and environmental sensitivities. Hard, rigid, cracked fingernails and toenails. Insomnia, fitful sleep, difficulty falling asleep. Chronic neck and shoulder pain. Migraine headaches. Menstrual irregularities and excessive PMS symptoms. Anxiety, restlessness, nervous energy, difficulty relaxing. And you are somebody with the personality that tends to be a little over-serious. You are quick to anger and blame others. So it tends to be that kind of personality. In column A. Yep, so we just did column A. Do you want me to read them again? Okay. So, column A. Get serious now. 1 to 10. 1 being, it's fine. 10 being really bad. Okay, so you're going to have an accumulation. Okay, let's go. Bucket A. Allergies and environmental sensitivities. What's your rating? Hard, rigid, or cracked fingernails and toenails. Insomnia, fitful sleep, difficulty falling asleep. chronic neck and shoulder tension. Oh, I missed this one before. Itchy eyes, ears, or anus. Sorry, I missed that one last time. I missed that one. As I'm reading it, I missed that one. Migraine headaches. Menstrual irregularities and excessive PMS symptoms. Anxiety, difficulty relaxing, restlessness, nervous energy. Overly serious. Blaming others, and quick to anger. Blaming others and quick to anger actually go together. Okay, we good for bucket A? Okay, bucket B. Overly flushed or red complexion. Right now. Hot hands, feet, overheating, excessive perspiration. Rashes and hives. Stuttering, strange speech, and tension in the throat. Rapid heartbeat palpitations. Lightheadedness. Excessive desire for cold drinks. Inability to concentrate, ADHD. Feelings of overwhelm. And forgetfulness. Okay, bucket C. Excessive saliva and or thick mucus in the nose, throat, and mouth. Insatiable appetite, compulsive overeating. Weak joints. Lack of energy and endurance, overall sluggishness, heavy feeling in the limbs. Water retention, so swelling in the abdomen, hips, legs, ankles, hands, and fingers. Heavy menstrual flow. Gas, distended abdomen, excessive belching. Hypoglycemia, so low blood sugar, craving sweets, carbs, bread, and sugar. Heartburn, ulcers. Difficulty losing weight, rapid weight gain. And obsessive worrying and confusion. Sorry, the last one? Obsessive worrying, confusion. Okay, bucket D. Weakened bones, bone loss, teeth loss. Severe lower back pain. Ringing, buzzing, humming in the ears. So kind of tinnitus. Dark blue or black color around the eyes. Frequent urination. Dry, thinning, balding, or prematurely graying hair. Like, I would say like your 20s. No, in your 20s. In your 20s. Yeah. Yeah. Shannon, I started going gray when I was like 22. Yeah, so that's early graying, yeah. And this is definitely my bucket right here. Not that I have high blood pressure. High blood pressure, heart attack, stroke. Extreme dislike for cold winter. Chronic fatigue syndrome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, and depression. Okay, yeah, that's right. Who knows where the symptom came from, right? Okay, the last one, E. So, moles and warts. Inflexible spine and back. Lack of perspiration. Intestinal distress. So, loose bowels, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome. Dry hair, nails, lips, and skin. Overly critical and judgmental, petty. Inability to adapt to change. This one has a lot of personalities. Obsessed with cleanliness. Inability to release and let go. And possessive of both people and things. Inability to release and let go. Now you have to add them all up and decide which is the winner, bucket A, B, C, D, or E. So the big reveal, bucket A. If you scored high in bucket A, you need to focus in on your liver and your gallbladder. Very, very common, very. Well, like if this one, like if you look at all your score across the bottom. Yes, if it's the highest of your scores. Yeah, then this is so, I am a big proponent for one thing at a time, 1, 2 things at a time, not too many things at once. So I want you to pick which one is going to be the one that you need to focus on the most out of the gate. And you don't want to be focusing on all your organs all at once. You want to focus on one area. So you'll be focusing on the liver and the gallbladder. They work together very, very well. If you have gallbladder attacks, if you support your liver, you're going to stop the gallbladder attacks. Then you support your liver for sure, because you're not emulsifying fats any longer. Okay. Oh, no, can you go back to bucket A? Sorry, go back one. So there are your solutions. You want to reduce stress. You want to get to bed before 11. I know, it's hard. Don't skip meals. Eliminate fried foods. It's really bad for the gallbladder. Your liver is what processes all your fats in your body and your carbs as well. Avoid sugar and refined flour products. Eat small portions and chew really well. And the liver likes vigorous exercise. Okay, bucket B. You need to focus on your heart and small intestine. So reduce overly spiced foods. Reduce tomatoes and red peppers. So that would be like nightshade vegetables. Eat more green leafy vegetables. So your kales and your spinach. Yes?
Sorry, question. For the eat more green leafies, I'm not sure if you but you know like the green scoop powder you can take?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend those? Like, or do you think they're good or is it not worth it?
It depends on the brand. Is it organic?
Yes.
Okay, then it's probably fine. Yeah, I was buying an expensive brand from Goodness Me that was $80, and when I had it, I didn't have it tested, but a third-party company had it tested, and it was full of heavy metals. So that's why I ask if it's organic, then it should be fine. Yeah. Listen to the heart emotionally and spiritually connect to others. So it's very much related to your emotions. I mean, your heart, right? Makes sense. So if your intestines are upset, you need to talk to your heart. Bucket C, the stomach, spleen, pancreas. So 3 organs. Decrease refined carbs, sugar, and sweets. Reduce caffeine and alcohol. The spleen does not like iced foods. Add more sweet vegetables. It actually likes the sweet taste, so things like sweet potato are really good for it. Avoid dairy. Finish what you start. Don't multitask and have 5 projects going at once. Walk daily and sing. So put the tunes on, drive around in the car, sing. We don't need to hear you. Okay, next, please. Yeah. Bucket D, kidney and bladder. Reduce overly salted foods, which makes sense because the kidneys are flushing out our water, right? Avoid coffee, chocolate, and sugar. Now, the kidney does not like raw foods. It does not like cold drinks. Yes, Sherry? It can't be which? No. I actually have some stretches. There are different meridian stretches, and it's one way of testing. So when you can't, there are certain stretches, and if you know you're actually working in the right direction because you finally can do the stretch well. And when you can't do the certain stretches really well, you're like, okay, yeah, my kidney and bladder stretch isn't going very well. I know I need to focus on that. And then as you know you're making progress when you can actually do the stretches. So it's a really cool way, yeah, of checking it out. Eat more bone stocks, eat more ocean foods, use meditation, and be fearless. Yeah, so especially people, I don't know if many people fell into bucket D, but in the winter, it tends to be one because we're eating too many raw foods. And if you start eating more steamed foods and more that kind of stewy things and deep nourishing foods, then this area really clears up really quickly. Bucket E, the lungs and the large intestine. Reduce fruit and eliminate fruit juice. Watch your dairy intake. Avoid cold and overly sweet food. Drink 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. Eat whole grains, beans, veg, and fish. Add in deep breathing, daily walks, and meditation. And one thing that's interesting about the lungs is that if anybody's had any recent loss or they're feeling really sad and you get a cold really quickly, it's popping up in the lungs. That's where that kind of emotion, sadness, pops up in the lungs, and which is no wonder that we're all catching this cold, right? So just wanted to mention that to you. Do I have another slide? No, that's it? Okay, that's it. One thing I forgot to mention was the Wellness Hub is actually, I'm not sure if I mentioned, it's a 12-week group coaching program. So it's 12 weeks in total in the Wellness Hub. Okay, thank you, Barry.
It's so wonderful that we have so many within our group, ladies, that bring such a wealth of information. And that's one thing the executive wants to really focus on, is looking within the talents that you have, the knowledge that you want to share with the group. And these 3 ladies are a part of our team of Ladies Who Lead. So we are going to ask them some questions about wellness. So first off, I'm going to ask each of the ladies to introduce themselves and tell us about your business, about whereabouts you're located, and what drove you into the wellness world.
Am I going first?
Sure, go ahead.
My name is Kim Doyle, and I own Brant Nutrition. I have a specialty in pediatrics and then intuitive eating, which is really a focus in breaking down dieting rules and helping those recover from eating disorders or disordered eating. So that's me in a nutshell, and I work virtually and in the home. So instead of having a storefront, I come to you and I look at your surroundings and help you make some pretty practical changes.
Thank you. Shelley?
Hi, I'm Shelley Gadet. I own Gadet Fitness Solutions out in Paris. I run fitness classes 7 days a week, both online and in person. I run online nutrition coaching one-on-one, and I do personal training.
Welcome, Shelley. Crystal?
Hi there, my name is Crystal Schouten. I'm the owner of Family Life Fitness. However, I am currently changing my business name, so I will be Fitness Reset eventually. I specialize in the pelvic floor space, so fitness with pelvic floor. I work with prenatal, postpartum. I work with women with pelvic floor dysfunctions such as incontinence, prolapse, diastasis recti. I do work in partnership with Essential Physiotherapy as well. I am in person and online, and yeah, that's me.
Welcome, Crystal. So ladies, it can be extremely unsettling to start something new. You know, we get nervous, we're afraid of it, we don't know what to do. So Shelley, what advice could you give to women who fear the wellness change?
Thanks for choosing me first, Mel. I appreciate that. Well, I think you just have to just try. Small changes lead to big results, so you don't have to change everything at once. So I would say choose a coach that you believe in and that believes in you, and just make small changes. And you don't have to upheaval your whole life, your fitness, your nutrition all at once. Just do little things, and they'll lead to big results.
Thank you. So with this information, Crystal, what is the biggest challenge do you think that faces most of your clients?
I wrote notes, so. But that's me, type A personality. I think the biggest thing is overwhelm. Women become overwhelmed with a fitness program. They may be motivated in the beginning, but once they miss a workout or they then go to failure. I'm a failure. And that really becomes with your belief system, how you believe in yourself. A big thing is negative talk. So when you miss a workout, you're like, well, I'm a failure, I'm just gonna give up. So it's changing your belief system. And one thing I coach my clients is every time you do, and going with small things, whether it's just 2 minutes of movement, 2 minutes of breathing, whatever it may be, you're casting a vote for yourself. So I have my clients actually, they start their journey with me by saying, whatever their goal is, that's who they are now. So just say, I want to be a fit and healthy person, or I want to, whatever it may be, that's who they are that day. And every time they do that movement, that little thing, they're casting a vote for themselves every single day. One thing I also tell my clients is just 2% is all you really need. So I give my clients the option to do just 2 minutes, whether it's breath and movement. So that's the biggest thing, is that fear of failure. So just, and that's the big thing. You need support. You need a coach to support you with that. So, having that accountability person is huge as well. So just, believing in yourself, changing your mindset, which is easier said than done, but journaling, reflecting is huge, because it all has to do with here. We can be motivated, but motivation only lasts so long, because motivation will wear off. So we need to change the mind to then change the body.
Great, thank you. So Kim, everyone stumbles when starting a program. Do you agree? So what is the most common roadblock that your clients face in implementing change?
Right. So this really carries on with what Crystal was just saying, that, we start with this position of, I want to do this. I have this goal, and this is what I want, and I'm motivated here and now. I'm calling you. I want to get started. I want to do it. And the first 2 or 3 weeks, we're there and we're going, but then it's stress. As soon as there's that one instance of change, transition, illness, my kid is now switching to this school or home for a week because they have COVID, and so all my plans are out through the roof or down the stream, right? So the biggest thing is that when stress happens, that we revert back to our old habits, because it makes us comfortable. We're comfortable in this place, and now everything that I had motivated-wise has gone because it's no longer a priority, right? So when these moments of stress come, we tend to be hard on ourselves, right? And say, well, I can't do it, right? Like, I had all this motivation, but because of this happening, now I can't do it. Whereas, so that is usually where I find working through those moments of being like, okay, so it didn't work this way in this scenario. So reflecting back on that in a more neutral stance, instead of being like, I'm a bad person, I can't do this, I have no willpower. Well, no, the situation changed. So your space and your time that you had for that approach is no longer. But in this scenario, what do we need to change so that we can continue moving forward, right? And so if we come from it from a neutral perspective, then you can look at the stressors and apply change to those stressors so that when it comes by again, okay, wait, yeah, no, in this scenario, I need to be doing this X, Y, and Z so that I can keep going forward instead of cycling back and back and back.
Okay, that's great advice, ladies, to get us started. So, Shelley, what advice do you give your clients to get themselves ready to embrace the changes that you're going to ask them to explore?
Well, I think the ladies here have said it all, right? Just forgive yourself. Know you're not going to be perfect, and you don't have to be 100%. I think that's where everybody fails, is that they're like, it's either all or nothing. You hear people, it's January, they're going to go dry January, and then, yeah, their kids are home, extended time, all of a sudden, you know, they have Bailey's in their coffee on January 2nd, and they're a failure. This wasn't me, but it could be me. Luckily, you know, I don't have children that are young at home, but it could be me, my friend. No, anyways, but I think you just have to stop being all 100% or zero, and just know, like I said, little changes lead to big results. So maybe you make one little change. I don't like when people restrict and they give up everything. So I say to someone, if you like wine, then in our nutrition program, we're going to figure out how to keep wine in. If you like chocolate, we're going to figure out how to keep chocolate in. So you give them permission to eat and drink what they want, and then they don't feel like a failure. They don't feel guilty over what they're doing or not doing. I don't like the word cheat meals. So with my clients, I let them have what I call bliss meals, because you're going to have a bliss meal blissfully. So it's not cheating. What are you cheating on? Life is about living. Life is about having drinks if you like to drink. Life is about going out for supper. So you need to be able to bring that into your nutrition plan. And I always say, whatever you do to get to your goal weight, you need to do to stay at your goal weight. So along the way, you should be able to have a girlfriend night. You should be able to go out for supper for Valentine's Day. We just have to figure out how to work it out while we're working towards meeting your goals. Will it take longer? Of course it will. But in the end, you're going to sustain what you got to. You're going to sustain that weight, and really that's super important. All three of us could help all of you lose 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks, but the big thing is, can you stay there? So we need to teach you how to not only get there, but to be able to stay there and be able to maintain it for the rest of your life. So it's not a diet, it's your lifestyle.
Great. Crystal, you have been in the fitness business for several years. What is your biggest myth that you think is in the wellness world right now?
I knew I was going to get this question. Let me check my notes. No. Okay, so I'm going to talk more specifically. So the big thing that actually, because this was actually a hard one for me. This is why I'm totally going to get this, because it is a difficult one. And I'm going to kind of relate it to more my business, but push through the pain. So my big thing with me is dealing, I help women find a connection to their body, more so their core, their pelvic floor, which is your center. I deal with women that have incontinence issues. When I have conversations with these women, they're like, they're like, I just do jumping jacks and I just start peeing and I just keep on doing them. Or back pain. My back is killing me, but I'm just going to keep going through my plank, but my back is just killing me. So, there's a couple things. There's pushing through the pain where you have muscle fatigue, but there's pushing through the pain where your body's like, can you please stop? we don't want to do this, because what happens is your muscles start to other muscles start to overcompensate and do the work for a group of muscles, specifically for an exercise. So these are red flags. So pushing through the pain is kind of something you need to take, in different, so as I said, there's muscle fatigue, but then there's also your body telling you to stop. So, and I'll go more specifically with my specialty, which is pelvic floor movement and fitness, which is when you start to leak, when your back starts to hurt, when your shoulder starts to hurt. That's your core, that's leading to your core, your center right there. So your breath work, when you hold your breath, right? We're doing a workout. What do? We hold our breath, because so I always lead you gotta breathe, and when you're breathing is very important. So, really, it's creating awareness. I'm really huge on creating awareness. That's like one of the big steps one of the first steps with my clients is listening to your body. When you do these certain movements, what's happening? And, and I think the one biggest thing too is those red flags that are happening. So you want to exercise where you're not going to get to the next day where you're then again going into, I can't even sit on the toilet. I can't even get in my car. And then it's and then that also leads to failure because, or feeling like you failed because you're like, I can't even move. How am I supposed to do this workout that I have scheduled for me tomorrow? So it's a lot about listening to your body and listening to those red flags. So that was my one, pushing through the pain, I feel is you kind of got to listen to the body there with that one.
Okay. Yes, because I've heard that a lot before. Kim, if I could give you a magic wand and you could make everyone change just one small thing today to move towards better health, what would it be?
All right. So I'm a dietitian, so I'm going to focus on the food side. And it would be to make space for the things required to eat, to honor your hunger. So to be able to eat on a regular schedule, we have to consciously make space in our schedule to eat. We can't work from 9 to 5, no breaks, right? So scheduling at 12, a 15-minute break to eat the lunch that you made that morning. Waking up maybe 15 minutes extra early so that you can eat your breakfast with your children while they're eating breakfast too. Those dishes that are sitting on top, no dish policeman is going to come in and say, you didn't wash your dishes. You deserve to eat. So to do that, though, you need to make space, right? You can't make changes to the way that you're eating if you change nothing else in your world, right? Because eating in the way that you desire to eat takes time. It takes time. So, having the time to grocery shop, to plan what you want to eat that day, to eat it, it all takes time. And if we're over-scheduling our days, we're not going to actually be able to maintain any really highly motivated changes for longer than 2 or 3 weeks because it no longer works with our schedule as life goes on. So that's my update.
Thank you. So Shelley, as you know, wellness is a learning process, as no two people are the same. What advice do you have to help women not feel the guilt of self-care?
Making time for yourself is not selfish, it's self-love. And I think as women, we feel guilty because we are doing that 35-minute workout in the morning instead of doing the dishes. Luckily, the dish person isn't coming after us. But we have a lot of guilt, and we put that guilt on us. It's not our husband necessarily putting that guilt on us. It's not our moms. It's not our friends. It's us putting the guilt on us. We should be doing something else for someone else instead of us. So I talk a lot about in my classes, it is self-love. It's selfless to make time for you because it makes you a better mom, a better partner, a better sister if you've made time for yourself. If you got up in the morning and you've got that workout in, you feel good and you feel good about yourself, and that vibe will spread to your family. So it's super duper important that you make that time for you. And it just makes you better overall, I think. And you should never feel guilty for that. And even for preparing meals, A lot of people say, I'm too busy, I have to do this, I have to do this for my family. But if you prep meals, you plan meals, you're going to find you have more time available for your family if you are organized with that. So it's super important as women, because we absolutely are failing ourselves by thinking that we need to do something for everybody else except ourselves. So yes, ladies, make sure you're taking care of yourself first. It is very selfless, not selfish.
Thank you. So, Crystal, I know that you love what you do. Can you tell me what is your why? Why do you love it?
Gosh, I think I just...
Check your notes.
Oh, no, I'm not
Just
on
kidding.
that page.
Just kidding.
That's why I was having a moment there. I think my biggest thing is when I work with women, because I work with a lot of women who deal with core dysfunction. So they're very, like, leaking when you, if you pee when you sneeze, if you're, you know, or if you have prolapse, you feel pressure in your vagina, if you have back pain, you know, I'm helping women find a confidence, like we call it core confidence. That's, you know, so my why is to help women feel better, have a better connection to their body. The biggest compliment that I get as a trainer when I have a client complete a program with me is, you know, this back pain I had since I was a teenager is gone. I'm more aware of how I move. I can enjoy life with my children. It's heartbreaking when I get on a call with a woman and she's like, my children say, Mom can't jump on the trampoline because she pees her pants, or Mom can't play with us because her back hurts all the time. And they're like, my kids are getting to this point where they're noticing these things. So for me, I like, you know, helping these women, you know, learn how their core functions, you know, and then again, also getting more in-depth understanding of why they're going through this is huge, so they can live a life where they feel confident and can move with confidence, and create better body awareness. So that is my why. And then again, I also, you know, working with prenatal women, postpartum women, just really educating them on what your body goes through postpartum. You know, and they're just like, oh, I didn't even know this existed. I thought, like, what is common isn't normal type thing, right? So giving them that education, so like teaching my clients is a huge why for me. So that's the one thing I really get a lot of feedback is like, thank you for letting me know this. I didn't know this was a thing. I'm like eating my mic, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you're gonna have to disinfect this. I didn't know this was a thing. Like, it's just, that's a big why for me, is that helping women in that way to give them, as I said, that confidence in their movement. So, yeah.
If I could ask you, Kim, what makes you do what you do? What makes you love to do what you do? What part of your job brings you the most joy?
That's definitely twofold. So I wear two hats, right? I'm a pediatric dietitian, and then I work with people who are struggling in a very different way with their mind and what they put in their bodies. So the first hat with the pediatrics, like, I'm a mom, I get it. I get the stress that goes along with raising a child who doesn't eat anything or won't take a bottle or won't breastfeed, or, you know, and that pain that comes with that. So helping the parents is really probably the most rewarding part, because, you know, it can be something not medical at all, and it's just a position change, or it's just, and like that one small piece of recommendation totally flips a mother's or father's experience with their child, right? It goes from this negative, stressful situation to something that is manageable and somewhat close to normal as normal can be for some of the kids that I work with. So that's like, working with the parents is definitely one of my motivators of making that experience enjoyable. And then the other piece is that I went through a lot of typical teenager girl things growing up in the 90s. Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera plastered all over the things with low-rise jeans and belly buttons hanging out. And I when I first wrote my dietitian profile on Dietitians of Canada, it said, I want to help girls like me. And I wasn't even in eating disorders yet, right? And I didn't even know I knew I had disordered eating habits, but I didn't know how extensive it was at that point, right? And then once I went through my own journey and I learned how to help myself, it was just went off, and I'm like, I can finally help the girls that I want to touch, right? And so when I finally found my pathway to be able to do that, and I went back to revamp my profile, and I'm like, oh, I said it right there. So like being able to do the intuitive eating piece with those families and the women on their own. I do help men as well, but obviously they're not reaching out as often as they should be. So mainly women and kids and families, but it's very rewarding to help a teenager girl or a young woman see the light and see that they're worth food and that they're more than a number on a scale, and that there's more to them than their looks. And when I see that aha moment, it just melts me. Yeah.
So as you can tell, these three ladies all have a wealth of knowledge and all bring forth, I can just feel the passion radiating off them as they speak, right? With that being said, what is it in your business that you call your superpower, what you bring out of your business that you share, that you'd want these ladies to know, this is my superpower, this is what I'm so good at, or I strive for, or what would yours be, Shelley?
Well, on the weekends, I can make wine disappear very well. But in the gym, I can make a girl, well, I've got a few, not to brag, but I have a few superpowers. In the gym, I can make a girl absolutely hate me at the end because we've done way too many burpees, way too many thrusters, so many push-ups. They just hate me, but they love me because they come back tomorrow. So the whole thing, hate you, see you tomorrow. That is what I do every day, and I absolutely love it. It's so exhilarating for me to motivate women to want to push themselves harder and to be stronger. It's not about necessarily how they look, it's how they feel, that they feel stronger. They can lift a little bit heavier. Little things that I know I take for granted, as being able to do a walkout. So just walking out into a plank, walk back up and stand up. I have 60-year-old women that are practically in tears that they're able to do that because they weren't able to do that a few months ago. So the little changes that are to them that are huge changes to me, when girls walk into the gym very timid, and then it feels like it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, they're looking for heavier weights. They're asking me for more advanced exercises. It's amazing to me to see that, and it amazes me every single time, and it never gets boring. So in terms of the gym, just seeing women strive to get stronger and to be better and just to feel better about themselves. In terms of nutrition, it's just getting them away from the scale. And yes, I use the scale, but I always say the scale is my problem, not their problem, and not to tie their happiness to the scale. Yes, we are looking to lose weight, but really we aren't looking for a number. We all think we are. We all think, I'm going to be happy if I weigh 145 pounds. Well, trust me, if you weigh 145 pounds, your husband may still be a jerk and your kids may still not listen to you. You're not going to be this amazing, perfect person because the number on the scale is what you always wanted to be. So if I can get them to realize that they actually want to look, they want a feeling, they want to have their hair nicer, their skin looking better, they have a glow, they feel better, they have more energy, that they digest their food better, just their whole life is better as they are losing weight and they are striving to get healthy. So when they realize that you need to get healthy to lose weight, not lose weight to get healthy, and seeing them go through that journey every single time is just unbelievable to me, and I just absolutely love it. And there you have all the praise for me And it's not me. It's always them because they have to do the work. I just have to do the yelling. I mean the encouraging, but they have to do the work. They have to put in the work. I'm not there slapping the wine and the cake out of their hand. I'd probably have it with them. So, but it's amazing to me, and it's never boring to me to see that. And every day is amazing that I can see what transformation these women are going through, and it's pretty awesome. I'm very lucky. I have a great job.
Crystal, what would your superpower be?
Well, I guess one superpower would be I do help women stop peeing their pants, so that's a good one. So, but I mean, I help women have a better connection to their body. I like to educate women on to know how their body is working, how their core, how their breath is connected to their body. Why are they feeling pain? Why are they feeling pressure? Why are they peeing their pants? Like a lot of women that I work with, when I initially talk to them, they think it's far worse than it actually is. But I'm there to help them and guide them and support them through their journey, because it's not easy to have to wear pads or have to avoid sex or have to, with ab separation, not know if I'm supposed to be doing this exercise or that exercise. So they just feel very lost when you're dealing with something so personal. And I mean, to them, they would say it's embarrassing, to feel that way, and they hide. And they almost, I think the one thing that also hits me as well when I have conversations with women is I don't give it my all because I can't. I'm nervous, I'm scared, I have pain. So I like, my biggest thing is to help women obviously overcome that and learn, educate. Educate is huge for me. Create awareness is huge for me. Every body is different. Every woman is going through a different journey. So I like them to, I also want to give them, when they step into an, when they do work out or when they do exercise or go for walks or whatever it may be, that they have the confidence to know how to modify for their body, for what, because again, like women who have core dysfunctions, and some don't even know they have them, but to know okay, I can't do that specific exercise, but I have the confidence and I know how to do this, instead of just standing there and when the whole class is doing jumping jacks and you're just like, I'm just gonna stand here and wait. I don't know what to do. So I like to give women the confidence to move how their body wants them to move, to make them stronger from the inside out. Again, I mentioned that I do specifically focus on core dysfunctions, the pelvic floor, but it does resonate through the whole body. Like I mentioned earlier, having shoulder pain will definitely be direct to your core. Knee pain, because we start to overcompensate in certain if our core isn't working for us properly, if we're not connecting that way, then you're going to start overcompensating in your shoulder, your knee. You're going to have knee pain. I talked to this, Sherry, owner of Essential Physio. Me and her talk about this all the time. How women will, if they have knee pain or back pain, or just men too, they'll go see physio for that, for knee, when maybe it's the core that there's that misconnection there. We need to have a functioning core, because it's our center. So, I'm kind of trailing off here, but yeah, that's my biggest passion, is definitely educating, creating awareness, and giving women that confidence to move.
Kim, what's your superpower?
Okay, so I would say feeding kids is definitely something I love doing. So I have a great knack at watching kids eat and seeing the body language, right? So what some parents are, without the experience that I have of, feeding hundreds and hundreds of children and figuring out how to feed them, is that the eyes and face and body is all sending many, many messages that can be missed if we're not attentive enough. So deciphering that language for parents is definitely one of my superpowers. And then in the other field, it's really helping people break down barriers. Because you can have as many grand plans as you want, but if you can't find the time to do the things that you want to do, or if you can't get the right mindset, it's really hard to not fall back into old habits. So breaking down those barriers. I used to have a thing saying no excuses, and I kind of changed that because that was definitely a diet mentality thing that that kind of like triggers me to say that. But it's more of there's really there are good excuses for things not working, but that doesn't mean that we can't do it in a different way. Right? So looking at patterns and finding new ways to do the things that they want to achieve. So I'm really good at looking at the patterns and what's happening and how we can do things in a different way to get over that barrier.
Thank you. So I want to thank the ladies for coming tonight and offering your time and offering your expertise, because we've all learned something new, either about ourselves or about how to take the next step. I'm glad that you could share with us about your businesses, about who to contact you. And so now next time when we come to Ladies Lead, we'll know who you are, we'll know what you do. So again, that is what a part of the program is helping us to learn about each other, to meet each other, to gain other experiences and learn from each other. So I can't thank the three of you enough for coming tonight. So can we get a round of applause for our ladies? So to close off the meeting, we're going to just have a little sort of small PowerPoint about some self-love. So as I was cleaning out my cupboard and my drawer at home, which doesn't happen very often, but I was cleaning, and so I found a webinar that I had gone to. Well, I guess it wasn't a webinar, it was probably a workshop back then, and I had gone to it, I'm going to say at least 12 years ago. And it was funny how these tips resonated with me as I was reading through them, and I wanted to share them with you, just a couple of them, so that we've probably all heard them before, but it's a great reminder about self-love and how it is important to love ourselves. I need to get my notes, sorry. I'm a crystal. Okay. So self-love is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. Self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Believe in yourself. Why are we where we are in our lives? It is the choices we have made. These choices were made because of what we believe to be true to ourselves. We are where we are in life because of what we believed. There are no mistakes. There are no wrong paths. We sometimes get into wrong marriage, wrong job, wrong relationships. There is no such thing as failure. Failure sometimes is helping us move in another direction. We get as much from our losses as we do from our victories. The losses in life are what wakes us up. Our life is bigger than any one experience. I bet if I asked some of you today what advice you would give your younger self, I bet some of you would say, relax. Just relax. It's going to be okay. It's really going to be okay. Your life is bigger than any one moment. Deep understanding of yourself is going to move us forward. With our lives, we are responsible to make this happen. You are responsible for your own life. So if you are sitting around waiting for someone to save you or fix you or help you, you're wasting your time. Because only you have the power to take the responsibility and move forward. The sooner you get this, the sooner your life gets into gear. What matters is now, in this moment, your willingness to see this moment for what it is. Accept it, forgive the past, take the responsibility, and move forward. Exercise or meditate or stop and be still with yourself every day. Whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, or even an hour, be aware of this moment. Bring humor into your life. So I'm going to tell you a little story about something that happened to me. It'll probably make you laugh. At the time, it did not make me laugh, and it's about self-love. So some of you know that I own an ice cream store downtown Paris. In the summer, I work 12 to 14-hour days, and it's a long day. So I took one night off, which was very rare. The people that know me know that that's very rare. When they ask me to do something in the summer, I'm never available because I'm at the ice cream store. So I took a night off, and I thought I'm going to book myself a nice massage. So I made the appointment. I was very excited. I went to the last appointment of the day, and it was at 8 o'clock at night. So I got in my car. I left my cell phone at home. I went to the massage place. I go in. I was greeted nicely. I paid for my massage ahead of time because I was the last customer of the day. The lady said, go on into the room, get yourself ready. I've been to this massage place before, so I knew what to do. You know, take off your clothes, face down, get ready for your massage. So as I do this, I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. No one seemed to come. I was uncertain of what to do. So I just popped up, wrapped the sheet around myself, popped open the door, gave a little look. It was complete darkness. All I saw was emergency lighting. I thought, what will I do at this time? Instead of going back in and thinking, maybe put your clothes on, nope, didn't do that. I took my wrap sheet, headed to the front counter, and this time I'm looking as somebody is walking out the door and locking the door. This massage place was in a strip mall. So I go to the window and bang on the window to the lady who's locking the door and waving because I'm inside with the sheet wrapped around me. She notices me as she's walking away. People are walking up and down and see me banging on the window. By this time, I'm hearing some alarms. Some alarms are going off as I'm standing there with the sheet wrapped around me, trying again to administer some self-love to myself, but it's not happening. The lady walks back in. She does not know how to disarm the alarm. So she's trying to call her boss. It's now going to a different level of alarm noise, quite loud. And again, still standing in the sheet, I'm thinking, am I going to get my massage? No. So I walk back in, I put my clothes back on, I come out, she goes, I'm just the receptionist. The massage girl must have thought she was done for the day and left. So I had paid for my massage, I had had no massage. So I get in my car after I didn't want to stick around for the police to come. So I get in my car, I go back home, I walk in the door, and anybody that knows my husband, he is extremely, extremely passive. He's sitting there looking at his iPad and he goes, hey, how's your massage? And I gave him one of those smiles and went to my bedroom. So needless to say, I wanted to share that with you. At the time, it wasn't humorous, but I wanted to let you know that sometimes when we try to administer self-love, it doesn't always work. So that is okay, but I just wanted to let you know that humor is really part of having some self-love. Next, take care of yourself. The truth is you can't give anybody anything that you don't have. So you have to keep your own self full. You need to take care of yourself. This is your job. This is the number one thing you need to do. You must work on yourself to keep yourself full, because only when the cup is full do you have true energy and motivation to give to others, and helping others is always self-gratifying. Go within and connect to get the best of yourself. The truth is, we were all created equal, and the only thing that'll ever make you happy is to level up. Raise your standards, take massive action, and discover what you're truly capable of. As you become more clear about who you really are, you'll have a clear picture about yourself and be able to decide what is best for you. All things are possible. Every night, list 3 things that you're grateful for, because it will change your perspective of the day. If you are grateful for what you have, you will always see what you have. But if you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough and will focus on not having enough. Please be grateful. Be the master of your life. Say to yourself, I am in control of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I am responsible for the choices I make to my life. Live your dreams. What is your dream for you? You don't get what you wish for. You get what you believe for yourself to be true. Keep your energy levels high. Eat healthy, exercise, and be silent with yourself. Positive thoughts bring positive energy. Did you know that you can't stay in the same negative thought for more than 17 seconds? You move to the next negative thought and the next negative thought. But if you have positive energy, you usually stay in the positive thoughts. We have been criticizing ourselves for years. Has it really worked for us? I'm not thinking so. Don't you wish we were as kind to ourselves as we were to our pets? For example, we say things like, oh, you're a pretty girl. Oh, do you want a treat? I love you. The biggest choices begin and end with you. Your internal big question is, who do I want to be in this world? All things are possible if we believe in ourselves. Remember to love yourself internally so you will glow externally. I've given each of you a flower tonight to take home and to remember as the time goes on this week to make sure you take time to minister some self-love for yourself.